Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking hair.
Yeah.
Because when I was in college, I had this hair, and I loved it, and it looked so cute on her, but I don't know if I could pull it off again. So.
Well, thank you.
It's all about the stylist, because if you don't find a person that does it the right way,
You gotta get a good cut.
yeah.
To lay the foundation.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all about the foundation. So, I am here with JJ Heller, and I was so spoiled because I got to sit on a really intimate concert with her and her husband Dave. And I know so many of you girls have been influenced by JJ's music and ministered to. What I love most about her music, her and Dave's music, is that the lyrics are so raw and authentic, but yet there's a message of hope and of redemption. And I really appreciate that you speak to the brokenness that we do go through. And in your bio, I was reading just how you're saying as Christians it can be so hard. We think that, you know, everything's going to be okay and it's going to all the pieces are going to be together. But, you know, very often there is that brokenness. And, will you just share a little bit about that and just your heart and how that influences your music?
Yeah, well, I think that's definitely a huge part of our ministry. I feel like God has called us to minister to the church, like a lot of people who have grown up in the church or who have a relationship with Christ. It's easy to kind of get involved in the culture of church and to go to church and try to pretend that everything's going great and to be perfect because that's kind of what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
Everybody else looks pulled together and happy, so it feels like, okay, well then I need to do that. And so we just have a heart to share songs that go a little deeper and talk about pain and struggle, to just give people permission to feel those things and hopefully provide a safe place for them to do that. Because Jesus never said that our lives would be easy once we started following Him. And it's hard. We live in a broken world. But at the same time, like we were talking about before, there is hope.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. I write things that God puts on my heart, and sometimes it's things that I'm struggling with, and sometimes it's things that friends of mine are struggling with, and other times it's just something that God puts on my heart to write about.
So I love the story about In Your Hands and just how that piece just really came to you out of a period of brokenness, because when I was 18, I'm from San Jose also, and I became a Christian when I was 18, very much out of a time of very brokenness, of severe depression. I was hospitalized multiple times, and I remember having God in my life for the first time and thinking, you know what, now everything's going to be good. The depression's going to be gone, the insecurity's going to be gone. And, you know, that wasn't the truth of the matter. And like you said, you know, the Lord never said, follow me and life is going to be easy. And so, will you tell us a little bit about, just to close by having you tell us the story about that song and what God has done through that?
Okay, well, we wrote the song Your Hands. When I say we, I mean my husband Dave and I, and then another singer-songwriter named Katie Herzig. And we wrote it 3 years ago at a time when I was really dealing with anxiety and panic attacks. And it was so severe that I was either panicking or afraid that I was going to panic in a few minutes. And so it was just consuming my life. I was just overwhelmed with fear, and I prayed every night that the next morning I would wake up and never have another panic attack again. And God didn't choose to answer my prayer that way, and I was really discouraged at the time, and I didn't know why, because I knew that God was big enough to do it, and He just wasn't. And so last September, a girl decided to use the song to audition for the show, So You Think You Can Dance. And just one thing led to another, and a DJ heard the song and put it on his radio station, and then it just spread all over the country, and now it's on hundreds of stations all around the U.S., and we get messages and letters and emails almost every day from people saying how God has used that song to minister to them and to give them encouragement in a really hard time in their life. And it's so amazing for me to look back to that time 3 years ago when I was just so broken, and to see why God didn't answer my prayer. Because if he would have just taken it all away immediately like I wanted to, then none of these people would have heard this song, and God wanted to use it to encourage the lives of thousands of people who I've never even met before. So it gives me hope that our suffering and our struggle is not wasted, that God will redeem all of it, and maybe we won't see it, but he has a plan. And then also one thing that was comforting to me during that time was just the fact that when we're sad and we're overwhelmed and we're struggling and suffering, God is not somewhere far away looking down on us from heaven, but he is there. He is with us, and he's suffering with us, and it breaks his heart. But I was kind of comparing it to taking my daughter to the doctor to get her shots, because I hate doing it because the doctor gives her the shot and she cries and she screams, and and she looks at me like, why are you letting them do this to me? But it's because I don't want her to get polio. It's because I love her. And I think that's the same way that God looks at us sometimes. It's like he allows us to go through some pain because he loves us. And we might not understand it at the time. But we just got to trust who he is, even if we don't know what he's doing.
That's awesome. That's so right on. And our heart is just, if you are in that place of brokenness and you don't see that glimmer of light, just know that he has you in his hands. And I personally want to encourage you to download JJ Heller's albums. They are phenomenal.
Oh, stop.
If you go into my iPod, my playlist, most recently played, you'll see all of her songs, and they're just so filled with truth. And so I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us and to be real and to be authentic, because it's hard to find that, and so we really appreciate it.
No problem.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
And just for being a light and being real.
No problem.
So, thanks, girl.
Sure. See you later.
Crooked line, oh Lord, before these feet of mine, oh Lord, before these feet of mine, when my world is shaking, heaven stands, when my heart is breaking, I never leave your hands. I'm not the clothes I'm wearing, I'm not a photograph, I'm not the car I drive, I'm not the money I make, I'm not the things I lack, I'm not the songs I write. I am who I am. There are true things inside of me I've been afraid to see. I need help my unbelief. My good shepherd brings me all